views and opinions expressed are those of the panelists and do not reflect in any way those of the podcast partners, sponsors, or affiliates. Enjoy.
Sky's the limit, baby.
BoxingVoice.com.
We don't fight for rings and stuff like that. I don't fear anyone.
En este deporte no se viene a jugar y no le tengo miedo a nadie.
We don't come to play in this sport. I fear no one in this sport.
Does that mean that you will fight Triple G later this year?
Como lo dije en la pelea pasada, ahorita mismo me vuelvo a poner los guantes.
As I said in the last fight, right now I'll put on the gloves again.
¡Viva México!
Canelo wants to unify all the titles.
When did you realize, Andy, that you could take his power?
Because of the Mexican warrior that I am, I got that Mexican blood in me. So, talking about the Mexican style, I just proved it.
BoxingVoice.com.
Ain't no other sight in the game to see the Boxing Voice.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another special edition of the Boxing Voice Radio. Outside of it being a spontaneous one, if all goes well, we'll have the legendary commentator of HBO, Larry Merchant, on the show to give us his thoughts on this particular fight. So I'm going to go ahead and try and patch him in, so bear with me with the silence and the ringtone as we do that. So I actually got it muted now while it rings. Let me see. Here we go.
Hello.
Larry, how are you? Nestor Gibbs again. Sorry I took a little longer than that 5 minutes I asked for, but we could get right into it if you're still free.
Sure.
All right. Well, I just wanted to get your thoughts on this weekend's spectacular fight, in my opinion, which is obviously Errol Spence Jr. versus Shawn Porter.
I was surprised that Porter pushed Spence so far, because I have considered Spence such an outstanding welterweight. I didn't think Porter was quite in his class. I thought that Spence would stop him. But we live in a time of wrong-headedness, I'll put it that way. I thought, for example, that Manny Pacquiao didn't have much of a chance against Thurman, and he beat Thurman. And I certainly thought that Joshua would beat Ruiz, and he didn't beat Ruiz. So maybe we're living in a time of reordering some priorities. I'm looking forward to the next big fight, which is going to be Canelo and Kovalev in about a month. And I'm looking forward to the heavyweights sorting themselves out. And I'm looking forward to seeing what happens with the welterweight division. We'd all like to see Spence and Crawford, but I don't know if that fight could be made for a few years. But it's a pretty good time for the old game.
Wow, you don't think Spence and Crawford can get made for a few years? I mean, Crawford is 31 right now. I believe Spence is 29.
Well, I don't think I think that because they fight for different promoters and different networks, and that there's going to be money to be made without them fighting each other. So what is the incentive for them to meet? Both of them are outstanding fighters, in my opinion, but neither of them is a superstar in terms of generating massive revenues. So how do you get them to fight each other if they can make good money for fighting others without being in as much jeopardy?
Funny you say that. We were doing some research, and the only guy we could find in recent history that's done back-to-back pay-per-views that haven't had decreasing numbers is Errol Spence and Manny Pacquiao. Floyd took a break after Gotti. He went with Shawn Mitchell, and Oscar even had one in between his first and second pay-per-view. Doesn't that show that, I don't know, maybe Earl can be some sort of new era? Because this is the second pay-per-view that is at least considered a success with 350-plus buys.
Look, there's success and there's over-the-top success. And that they can make very good money attracting that many pay-per-view fans, but it takes some kind of special aura for a fighter to attract 1 million fans. And as far as we know, Canelo's the only guy in the game that can do that. Maybe the heavyweights, if it comes down to a Fury and Wilder, maybe they'll draw 1 million. Maybe Ruiz and Wilder would draw 1 million, because they're heavyweights. One reason that Mayweather achieved such notoriety and success in the ring as well as at the box office during his time was there were no American heavyweights out there. We had the Klitschko's and Lennox Lewis. Well, now there are a couple of American heavyweights in the mix. And for the casual fan, it's the heavyweights they want to see.
So now, you don't think that with Porter showing some sort of vulnerability in Earl, the Pacquiao-Errol Spence unification for 3 belts could possibly get to those numbers? Pacquiao did 600,000 with Keith. Keith had 1 title. He was coming off a 2-year layoff and a bad outing versus Josecito Lopez. Earl's coming off of a complete destruction.
Do I think Pacquiao is possible with Spence? Sure. It depends on how you divide the money. I think Spence is way too strong for him. But Pacquiao still is Pacquiao, and he still maintains his fan base. And you gotta take off your hat and your shoes to him. And could those be the fights because they're all working under the same promotional umbrella? Could they mix and match in there? Sure. But could it be the kind of mega fight that would attract casual fans? I don't know. If it is, that's great for boxing. But, so far, it's been Pacquiao as the attraction, as the bigger attraction than Spence or anyone else in that division.
Now, Larry, once upon a time, you wanted Pacquiao to face Canelo. Now you're saying Earl might be too strong for Pacquiao. We've seen Canelo become a man's man. And you wanted that fight to happen, or was that when Canelo was at a lower weight?
Well, he was not only at a lower weight, down around welterweight, but Pacquiao was at a lower age. He was still at that edge between being a super fighter as well as a superstar, and being past his prime. So maybe at one time that made sense. But now he's 40 years old. He gave a brilliant performance for a veteran fighter to pull that upset. And yes, can they make some money? Because Pacquiao has a lot of true believers who believe he's never diminished. and good for him. But the fight I'd want to see, obviously, is Forrest and Spence. And whether Pacquiao is willing to fight either one, probably not Forrest because of promotional conflicts. I don't know. I'm going to wait and see, just like everybody else, to see what they're stirring up. My guess is they'll try Spence and Pacquiao, with Pacquiao to get the big lion's share of the purse, and to induce him to make that fight. But in the ring, I don't think it's a serious fight.
Larry, I want to go ahead and introduce you to my co-host here, Michael Gross. Mike, Larry Merchant.
How's it going, Mr. Merchant? My name is Michael Gross. My first question is, you've been around for the Rumble in the Jungle, Thriller in Manila. You even was around for Buster Douglas and Mike Tyson over in Japan. What do you think about the Saudi Arabia fight with Andy Ruiz and Joshua? Not the fight itself, but the location of the fight.
Well, gives it a kind of exotic background to fight against. I hope the weather is it doesn't interfere with the fight. By that I mean the heat, obviously. But it shows that the heavyweight championship means a lot around the world, and I think it's got that kind of exotic feel that adds to the fight and the promotion.
With that being said, if you were like working the fight, and there's been a lot of controversy about people going, people not going, would you go over to Saudi Arabia if you were working or had a chance to work that fight?
Yes, I would go. I don't think that unless there's an Ali who materializes again, boxing and politics don't necessarily have to mix. Sometimes sports and politics and this, what's going on in the world socially are relevant to the prize fights. There have been a number of prize fights that, like Joe Louis and Max Schmeling in their famous rematch, that meant a lot around the world. Ali and Frazier, the first time they fought, was a big deal. You could be living in an igloo on a sheet of ice in the North Pole, and you would know that fight is happening, and how can you watch it? But yes, I would go. I don't know if HBO would want to put the fight on from there, but I'm sure they're putting up a lot of money into the purse, and I don't know, maybe I'd negotiate a higher fee.
Larry, I want to bring you back to the fact that you feel Crawford and Spence won't see each other for about, you said, a couple of years. But I want to just remind you, maybe you don't know, that Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder have a contract that's signed for a February 22nd fight for a pay-per-view that is split broadcast with ESPN and Fox. So if Bob and Al could sit down for, Wilder and Fury, I know that's the heavyweight division, but I mean, the welterweight division is another glorified division as well, no? Can't a deal be struck if they're already doing business for the heavyweights?
Look, I lived through a number of fights that crossed over those boundaries because both sides thought it was to their advantage to make the fight. Both sides thought they could make money. Tyson and Lennox Lewis, for example, Showtime and HBO put the fight on, and under certain conditions, that they both thought it was a winner. So yeah, is it possible? Sure. But I think that the promoters would rather not take the risk unless there's a great deal of money. Now, in the case of Spence, with a couple of pay-per-view fights behind him, and doing reasonably well for an outstanding fighter, but who has never shown that he's a great box office attraction. But certainly with Forrest and Spence, we have two guys who would want to get well paid. And what if that fight did 300,000 or 400,000 buys? Is that worth it? I don't know. It depends on what the other choices are, and at that moment in time. But the way the promoters are acting now, I don't see that fight being made in the foreseeable future.
Well, Larry, I know you're a busy man. I don't want to take too much more of your time. Those are all our questions. We want to thank you, obviously, for coming on, and hope to get you back on again, man. We still want to see you calling fights, too.
Well, thank you. That's good of you. Right now, I'm making plans to possibly go to the light heavyweight fight a month from now.
It better be in Godcheck?
I'm sorry?
The one with Artur Beterbiev in Philadelphia? Or are you talking Kovalev and Canelo?
Kovalev Canelo. It's a fascinating fight. It's a dangerous fight for Canelo, and I'm interested in how in the fact that he's willing to take this risk at this point in his career. So that's the fight I'm looking forward to, and hopefully it's as good a fight as some of the fights we've had recently.
Well, Larry, man, once again, thank you for coming on. You have a good night, and I am looking forward to Canelo Kovalev as well. Thank you again, sir.
Let's get it on.
All right. There you have it. Let me go ahead and introduce Michael Gross while I do some background stuff.
Dazn Production.
I speak it, believe it, receive it. Speak it, believe it, receive it.
BoxingVoice.com. So when I stop him, y'all gonna say he was too weak. On my mic. He stayed out on 47.
A man stand up for what he believes in, and when you stand up for what you believe in, you accept whatever consequences come behind it.
BoxingVoice.com.
Yo. What's up? Back with another one. And yeah, man, Errol Spence came out on his IG and said, hey, let's run it back. You know what I'm saying? Hey, I like it. It was a very competitive fight. It was a very action-packed fight, and I think it lived up to the welterweight standards that of old. So I definitely wouldn't mind seeing it again. I want to give a quick big shout out to Larry Merchant for joining the show.
Mike,
and
I
going
think
back
we
to
got
this
Ken
right
on
now.
The line. Ken, are you there?
Yes.
Sorry to keep you waiting while you didn't answer. Me and Larry were talking about your son's fight. Obviously, first and foremost, want to congratulate you and Shawn on a fantastic fight. We've had several callers that feels even with the knockdown, Shawn deserved the win. Several callers call in and be disgruntled about the numerous low blows and no warning or point deduction. But overall, everyone is calling this the fight of the year. How pleased are you? And just where's your mindset with everything that took place?
Well, I can't be pleased because we didn't get the judges to give us the decision. But as far as the game plan is concerned, and as far as the effort that he put in to make the game plan come together, I was very happy with that. The low blows really, really, really caused us a lot of trouble. He didn't want to make any. He's not a complainer, and he's not the kind of guy that complains. And one time he tried to say something to the ref about it, and he got hit as he was trying to complain. So, that right there, it definitely was a game changer. So much to the point when I noticed the difference in the way he was fighting, I said, "What's going on?" And he didn't want to tell me. I said, "Come on, man, what's going on? What's going on?" He said, "I'm numb down there. I can't feel anything," and that changed the way that we were fighting at that point. I said, "Well, don't worry about that." I hit him on his leg. I said, "Don't worry about that. Here's what we're going to do." And he was just a soldier. He just went ahead and did what I told him to do. And then he fought his way through that. But that's never something that we've ever had in a professional fight. Repeated low blows, to the point where I'm yelling at a referee saying, "Man, you got to help me. He's hitting us low." And a referee actually said to me, and I respect the ref, had him numerous fights. I respect him a lot. But he said to me, "Shawn is wearing his shorts low. There's nothing I can do about it." And that's the worst thing I've ever heard a referee say, because you have all the control in the world for whatever's going on in that ring. The only person that doesn't have any control on it is the fighters. But the referee is control of anything that he sees that's a foul. So I showed him in front of him, put Shawn's shorts down below his belly button. And he just nodded his head at me. And then the fight continued, but nothing changed. What happens if we have a round or two where he decides to take a point from Errol Spence and makes Errol have to fight us without the low blows? So I'm not pleased at all, but I am, I'm happy my fighter did the things that I asked him to do. I'm very happy it was a great fight. The fans enjoyed the fight. We are ready right now. Shawn's feeling really good mentally and physically. We're ready right now to sit down to the table and negotiate another fight. We need the rematch.
Speaking of the rematch, Earl came out about 2 hours ago and said, "Let's run it back." And he put, the eyebrow, the rock eyebrow emoji and the shark emoji, hashtag strap season, hashtag unified champ, hashtag man down, and still. So obviously this is fresh. Do you buy into the social media hoopla, or you don't believe he wants the immediate rematch? And would Shawn want an immediate rematch? It was a grueling fight for the both of those guys. Do they need some time apart?
I just spoke to Shawn after you reached out to me. And I asked him, and he said, "Let's do it." I know this probably sounds like a company line, but the most vulnerable point of a professional boxer's career is after a fight, after he wins, after he's got money, so everything is there for him to, just splurge on, be a part of, partying and women and spending money and all this kind of stuff like that. Shawn was in church this morning. That's where he was at this morning. Yesterday, he went through a recovery workout with me, which was a cryogenics. And then after that, it was a stretching session in a sauna. And I called him back this morning. I said, "Hey, we're doing it again today, right?" And he said, "Yes, we'll do it again today." Maybe 2 hours later, he called me back. He was excited. He was feeling good. He said, "Guess what?" I said, "What?" He said, "I don't need it." I'm real good. I feel great. Let's go. So I've already asked him after you contacted me about the interview. I already asked him if he wanted to do the rematch, and he said rematch is the only thing he wants to do. He doesn't want any other fight. He doesn't want to wait on another fight. He doesn't want to try to, talk to anybody else about it. Let's get this done. Let's go ahead and start it right now.
Wow, that's amazing. Now, do you think that the rematch is possible for as early as January, which is the date that was rumored for Earl to go back on, or because it's a pay-per-view, it needs to get pushed back? And I'm just wondering, since it did so well, the initial numbers were reported up to 350. So you think that makes negotiations for the rematch a lot easier because now you guys, you were able to show both parties bring something to the table?
It makes it easy for us. No surprise to you. I'll say it anyway. We're willing to fight anyone, anytime, any place, any day. That kid has no second thoughts on doing a rematch. We're excited about him putting the social media quote up. Now we actually need him to do something that's necessary, which is make the phone call and get a meaningful discussion started. I'm trying to make phone calls every day. They're not taking my phone calls. Nobody's answering my call right now. I'm trying to make a phone call every day. Nobody's taking my phone call. So we need that other side to go ahead and make a phone call and say, hey, let's get this started.
Now, before I pass it to my co-host, Michael Gross, I do want to say, since you're talking phone calls and they, being Earl or Heyman or whoever you're calling, isn't answering, there are some rumors about an interview that you might or might not done after the fight where you said if we can't get the rematch, we're going to go down or hunt down or go down the Terrence Crawford route. How much of an option is that? Because I'm just thinking to myself, obviously, the Earl fight is there, but with these numbers, I mean, you sit down with Bob, I mean, Crawford hasn't been doing well on pay-per-view. They might desperately need a Shawn Porter over there for a one-off.
Well, it's not a rumor. I'll repeat what I said. What I said was we want a rematch with Errol Spence. If we can't get a rematch with Errol Spence, meaning we are willing to do everything that it takes, exhaust every remedy that it takes to get a rematch with Errol Spence, preferably in the spring of 2020. Reasoning before that, because of that would be, obviously you need time to build that kind of fight up. Everyone enjoyed the fight. Everyone loved the fight. The numbers that I'm hearing for the Staples Center were great. The number that I'm hearing on the pay-per-view right now sounds really good. I can say that I've already discussed it with Shawn. He's all for it. If we can't get an Errol Spence fight, the best fighter out there is Terrence Crawford. You saw two of the best welterweights in the world the other night. And it was, in my estimation, either a win for Shawn or a draw for both guys. But moving forward, if we can't get it, listen, dude, we're not going to sit around and wait. We want to get the best fight we can get. None of these guys have an option of stopping time. Everybody gets a day older every day that goes by. So Terrence Crawford is a great fighter. Shawn Porter is a great fighter. Errol Spence is a great fighter. Let's fight.
Mike, I know I said it was going to be on you, but since you're willing to go the Crawford route, do you think that fight is any easier because Crawford is a man moving up from 130, 135, 140, or I think he started 135, right? No, he might have started 130, 135, 140, now 47. Shawn started his career at like 167, or does that not matter at this level?
Okay, scratch whatever rumor you heard about Shawn starting a career at 167 pounds. He fought at 154 in his pro debut. I don't know where that...
You there?
Date than his actual birthday. But the point I'm making here is, or what I would like to say about that is concerned, Terrence Crawford, there's nothing easier or easy about Terrence Crawford. If it was easier, you and I would not be having this conversation. I don't want easier. He doesn't want easier. He wants a great fight. He wants just what we had last Saturday night. He wants to do that again, run that back, rematch that with that guy. If we can't get that done, meaning you can't get that done because the guy just don't want to fight Shawn again. That's the only reason it wouldn't get done. That's the only reason. Then, listen, we cannot sit around. We cannot wait. We can't fight a lesser fighter. We only want to ascend, move forward, move up, be vertical. So Terrence Crawford, not an easier fight. More than likely, the style and our style make a greater fight. So that's what we want.
How's it going, Mr. Porter? Michael Gross here. I want you to take me back to, I believe it was round 9 or 10, the knockdown round. Going back to the corner after the knockdown round, did the game plan change any? And did you feel like it gave maybe the judges more leeway to kind of swing it to Errol Spence? I had Shawn Porter winning on my card, but I thought the knockdown maybe gave a little bit more credence to possibly giving it to Errol Spence. To that you say?
And I can agree with your scorecard. The game plan did have to change because you got a dangerous fighter in front of you and you got a fighter that you don't know, meaning my fighter. I didn't know what condition he was in. How badly was he hurt? He didn't get knocked on his butt. His knee didn't touch the canvas. His glove touched it. And they said, knockdown. He looked at me. He said, damn, because he knew it was a close fight. When he came in and he sat down, I asked him how he feel. When me personally, when I'm asking a fighter, and especially him, how they feel, I'm looking in their eyes to try to see if I can see. They may be saying the automatic, I'm a warrior, I'm fine, I'm good. You know what I mean? So I'm looking in his eyes to see if I'm seeing something different from what he's saying. And what he said to me and what I saw in his eyes is he wanted to go out there and go to war. And I asked him not to go to war because we made a concentrated effort to pick the spots where we would fight in this fight. We knew that going into it, that it had to be on our terms when we decided to fight. And so now it would be on the other guys, to the other guy's advantage if we come right at him, right? And damn it if Shawn didn't wait very long before he went right at him again, So, no, I asked him to make sure that he was using his jab, and he tried to counter Errol. And from the counter, I wanted him to pressure Errol. But he's a warrior. I didn't want him to be a warrior. I said that to him in the corner. I don't want you to go out here and go to war. And don't try to get this back. Just go out here, get your hands up, pick off his shots, counter him, and then go after him.
One thing that I did see in the fight, anytime Shawn back would touch the ropes, he would do a maneuver to switch around and make Errol Spence on the ropes.
Beautiful pivot. Oh, my God. The way he was spinning them all. Oh, yo, we was talking about that in the gym. Let me tell you, he fought. I know you probably take offense to this, but he fought his best. That was a beautiful Shawn Porter. He did not let Earl put him on the ropes. He spun him all night. That was crazy, man. That was a really, really good fight.
And I was going to add. It
was something that we worked on. I mean, to cut you off, Michael. It was something that we worked on leading into it. Actually, it should have been done even better than it was done because there were times that Errol had him positioned on the ropes and we wanted him to move sooner because of the way we worked on it leading into it. But he was at, I can't make no excuses. We just don't make excuses. But he was at a deficit. The kid said he couldn't feel his lower extremities, if you understand what I'm saying. I can't feel my in his all across the mid into the thigh area. He's like, I don't feel anything. So, it became a will that he had to will himself to deal with what he was dealing with and block it out, along with you got a great fighter in front of you, and we know we're supposed to make this move. And there were quite a few times, not just one or two, quite a few times that I saw him do it late. He was supposed to be going next. He was supposed to be going even sooner. He was supposed to make that move a lot sooner. But, that's why, you go into the fight practicing these things and preparing for this, and then you deal with what you got in front of you.
Was there any talk or any mention of a rematch clause when the negotiations for this fight was going on?
Nah, man, this game this is a rough one, man. This is this was something that was not even not even considered, but here we are. You got great numbers, and they need to take a look at this. The people involved with the business of it need to take a look at it and say, hey, you know what, these guys deserve to do the rematch.
Now, Ken, the question we asked our listeners here was, who did it better? Obviously, Shawn fought Thurman and Shawn fought Earl. What performance do you think was the better Porter, and who handled your son better?
You know what? I'd have to go back and look at the tape to be, and I haven't watched the fight at this point. You see, I still don't have a voice. And that's not really from yelling that night. That's more from after the adrenaline went away. My voice was fine after the fight, but after the adrenaline went away, then I started losing my voice. I'm like, damn, why is this happening? But you're on such a high, like you're in the Super Bowl or something, and then now you go home and there's nothing going on. There's no noise. There's nothing. But I don't know who did it, but they both were great fights. Both were great fighters. I'm gonna say this, and Keith don't like it. Errol ain't gonna like it. In my estimation, Shawn beat both of them. Should have got the decision over both of them.
I told you he beat both of them.
He just as easily could be an undefeated fighter or a fighter with a couple of draws and still undefeated. So let's just do this Errol Spence fight again. No, Keith ain't never had no interest in doing Shawn Porter again. We can do the Keith Thurman fight again. We can do the Danny Garcia fight again. We can do the Terrence Bud Crawford fight. All great fighters. And then we can ride off into the sunset.
Which version of Shawn you thought, even though you had him winning both fights, which one did you prefer?
Again, Ness, and you know me personally, so I ain't bullshitting you. The kid did some outstanding things against Thurman, made Thurman deal with some things he never dealt with before. Thurman came right back with some, so it was a great fight. It was a great fight. The fight with Spence on Saturday night, Spence went to the body more and definitely went to the lower body even more. And it changed the dynamic of what we was dealing with. It wasn't as clean as the fight you saw with Thurman. So, I see both fights as great fights, but different fights. And again, like I said, I'd have to go back and look at it to be certain. But, giving the kid only 4 rounds out of 12, that's just utterly ridiculous, utterly ridiculous on the scoring. And then a referee to tell me, and I tell him to his face, I respect him. What y'all do? Y'all gave me a ref that y'all knew that I was going to be happy with, and then he was part of the game. I don't know, but to tell me Shawn is wearing his shorts low, there's nothing I can do about it. What type of shit is that? Who says that? You in control of everything that's going on in the ring. He had more control than the fighters had, in actuality. And the kid, Spence, yells, everybody know you're a dirty fighter. You're a dirty fighter. Did you see how many forearms and elbows Errol Spence threw? Did you see how many low blows? People are telling me, I haven't watched the fight, but they're telling me, I said, well, he probably hit us a half a dozen times low. They said, oh, no, 12, 15 times low, easy.
Man, I think that was done purposely. Like, in the gym, they tell you don't look to the ref. Somebody hit you, you hit him back. And I think that's what Earl did. Like, oh, you gonna get rough? I'm gonna get rougher. And yeah, man, the ref did nothing. Listen, when they
No.
mentioned Jack Reese, we did a show. We did a show because I was worried. After that Fury fight, I got worried that Jack Reese was the ref. Did you have any problems outside of the low blows with Jack Reese?
No problems outside of the low blows. We warned him one time. The forearm was so evident. Like, damn, Jack, he's holding his arm up like a martial artist, and you're standing right there to see it, and you're not saying anything about it at all. And, you know, it was blatant. Let's keep it real. Let's keep it a clean fight. I got no problem with you saying anything that Shawn may do and you getting on him about. But damn, this guy is he got his forearm up. He swings the elbow and missed, and it was just blatant that you could see it in our corner, and everyone, my corner, which is Barry Hunter, Hal Chernoff, Larry Wade, everybody screams at the same time, the forearms! I mean, like, you know, you just turned your back like you didn't even see it, you know. And so I look over, you know how you do something, whatever it is you do in life and whatever it is, you know, damn, I wish I had did it differently, wish I had did this differently. What I really wish I had did is got more vocal than I was. I was very vocal with this guy. I slammed my hand on the canvas. I got in his face. I said, hey, man, you got to do something about these low blows. And the guy, quote, unquote, says, Shawn's wearing his shorts high. There's nothing I can do about it. So I pulls the boy's shorts down to see his belly button. And he still didn't stop it, you know. So Errol knows exactly what he was doing. He knew exactly what he was doing. It worked. But, you know, it is a fight, and Shawn is not the kind of guy. He's never been that bullshit about somebody being a headbutter and that bullshit about him being a dirty fighter. If he was a dirty fighter, you would have been able to call it definitely that night. He never even responded to that.
Now, for the rematch, do you go for Kenny Bellis? Because he never let
we
Mayweather...
don't have any control. We don't have any control over who they pick for that. They tell us who it is and we deal with it. That's it.
What?
There's never been a fight. Yeah, there's never been a fight that we don't get any choices.
How the hell did Mayweather always get Kenny Bellis or Joe Cortez? Like, that was his boys.
You think about it.
What? Go ahead, Mike. I know you had something.
I just want to go back to the pre-fight. There was a couple interviews that I seen where you and Derrick James kind of exchanged some jabs at each other. I just want to know, is there any animosity after the fight, or was that just pre-fight build-up?
I never exchanged any jabs towards Derrick James, so you have to quote me on that. I never did. If you're talking about the incident that we had, that's a totally separate thing. But I don't criticize trainers. I do not criticize trainers. Be the equivalent of me criticizing somebody's father. If you have a father in your life, I respect you having a father. I respect your father. I respect the relationship you have with your father. I can never criticize that because you have a father. So I can't criticize. I don't criticize trainers. Don't do that. So I never criticized or said anything about Derrick James. If you're talking about the incident, then that's totally different. But I don't know I never took any jabs at Derrick James. The shit that he said and the things that he said, which was that West Coast Suge Knight bullshit. If you want a real trainer to respect you and take care of you, and you want to get your career where it's supposed to be, come over here to death row type shit, that kind of shit, and then saying that the relationship and how I treated my son, you know, he went to a personal level, so I had to go see him personally.
And so there's no animosity after you guys exchange words?
Listen, I went to him, and when you say exchange words, I went to him as a man, and I spoke to him very low, not yelling, screaming, hollering, no cursing, anything like that. And I said to him, you do understand that this is boxing? He said, yeah. I said, now you made it personal. He said, what you talking about? I said, if you understand that it's boxing, don't make it personal. Keep it boxing. Because if you make it personal, then I'm going to come and see you, which is where I was at that point in time. At that time, somebody from his camp decided to come over and put their hand on him and ask him what was going on. And then that made him get a little more loud than he had to be at that point. And my coach, Barry Hunter, came over. And Barry said, hold up, Ken, hold up, KP, hold on. Let's go over here. And he took us to the side. And when I say to the side, it wasn't 5 or 10 feet. He took us probably from where we were, he took us about 25, 30 yards away. And he explained the situation to Derek where he had seen the video. And he said to Derek, I saw the video and it disturbed me. It upset me because this is my brother, as he pointed to me. And then he pointed it to Derek and he said, now, don't you think there was a better way that you could have handled this? Derek had no answer. He turned to me and he says, Kenny, tell him what you saw in the video and how you felt about it, which I did. At that point in time, Derek says, or he says to Derek again, don't you think you could have went to him? And the man that said this, and Derek said some shit like, I'm just telling y'all what everybody on social media is saying. Listen, dude, I am not social media. All right, we do what we do or do these interviews and things like that because that's what we have to do. But social media don't run my life. So if you're going to say some things about me because social media is saying it, you're going to put yourself in a situation where you're going to come up short with me. And that's where we was at with it at that point in time. But because Barry Hunter was speaking with intelligence, with a voice of reason, I could not argue or be upset or mad because I had someone who I respect talking to me. So I had to listen to what he had to say. And when he said what he had to say, whether or not I'm in total agreement, because I was in agreement, but not total because I'm upset because you're now questioning the love I have for my son, the respect I have for my son. At that point in time, I had to say, okay, this is grown man, a grown man situation. I have to handle it like a grown man. I extended my hand to Derek James. Derek James extended his hand to me. We shook. We met halfway on the situation. That ended it. After that point in time, I've seen him 2-3 times since then. In the ring, of course, before the fight, after the fight, and again in the press conference, and then again after the press conference was over. Each time we looked at each other, we shook hands. The situation is done with. There's nothing, there's nothing more to say about that. But, it was one of them situations where it needed to be taken care of away from a camera, away from a social media, and it needed to be discussed.
I'm glad y'all got it taken care of. One last thing before I get you back to Ness. I was watching the post-fight press conference, and I was thoroughly entertained, but then they kind of stopped the stream. Now, you just had a amazing fight. Wouldn't you think that a post-fight press conference with animosity and people going back and forth would sell or help the next pay-per-view out if you guys wanted to do a rematch?
Yeah, I do, but, I think a lot of times what happened in those situations, and you guys are on the outside looking in, but a lot of times what happened in those situations, they literally have this stuff scripted the way they want it. And when it goes off script, when it goes away from what they want, they shut it down. And so the people that were in charge of it, they're in charge, and they said, nah, that's it. We're done. I thought it was entertaining. I thought it was funny. I really did. After all of that happened, and Team Spence was walking away and clearing the room, the dad turns to me and said, damn, man, you remember when we was in Azerbaijan, he had a big smile on his face? I said, yeah, man, I remember when we was in Azerbaijan. We had a great time over there. That's one of those times they said that I didn't coach Errol Spence, but I was there with him. I don't know what capacity. Maybe I was a bus driver or some shit that day. But at that point, I called Errol. I said, EJ, and Derek James heard me call him. Proof in the pudding that Derek, understands that we have understanding. He called Errol because Errol was out of the room already. He called Errol and said, hey, come back. Coach want to talk to you. Errol came back, and I said, listen, man, you're a world champion. You're now a unified world champion. Enjoy this. Be happy with this. Don't let nothing upset you and take that feeling away from you that you have. And he said, "You're right, coach." And then he started walking away. And then, of course, some more of yelling and stuff. And I think definitely the fans were doing some yelling, and it was Team Spence, Team Porter type thing with the fans. And so then he just left. But, Shawn took a few more questions after that. But, yeah, I thought it was entertaining. And, overall, everything that happened, the pay-per-view that I'm hearing and the numbers that I'm hearing from the Staples Center, you couldn't ask for more. Yeah, we can always ask for more.
So, Ken, just in closing, what do you think is the most realistic timeline? Like you said, we're on the outside looking in. Can you tell us, if they pick up the phone or if he calls Al, what is the most realistic thing that a boxing fan could look forward to in terms of the rematch? What month would you put it in? Where do you foresee the powers that be saying, okay, and you're going to fight such and such month? How soon are we looking?
I don't know. In terms of where my kid is right now, where his body is physically, we could be ready easily by January 1st. I know for a fact that he already asked me to catch mitts with him tonight because he feels good. He's like, I want to catch some mitts. Let's do something. We could be ready in January. What was initially said to me before this fight, on more than one occasion, what was initially said to me was spring of 2020 to be fighting again. So I'm thinking, March or April, something like that. But, we definitely can be ready to fight in January. And knowing the way that Shawn is taking care of himself the last year and understanding his body and understanding that he needed to stay in a certain level of fitness at all times, I know easily 30 days from the Ugas fight, we sparred 10 rounds. So 30 days from the Errol Spence fight, which was at September 28th. We won't be doing it October 28th because that's all of our birthday week is. Shawn's birthday, October 20th. Mine's 26th. My son Ken is the 31st. So we'll all be, celebrating our birthday. But I know basically right around that time, he will be sparring again within 30 days of this fight.
Okay.
Yo.
So just how realistic do you think that Errol Spence's tweet is about let's run it back? Or since, you're saying you could be ready for January, you and your team could be ready for January. He and PBC were mentioning a Danny Garcia fight in January. Do you see him still going the Danny route before the rematch just to build it?
Yeah,
or
if I had to bet money on it, he'd take the easier fight than he'd take the Shawn Porter fight. Because, ain't nobody put that kind of, nobody did that kind of business with him in the ring. That's the first time he ever felt like that. And it's the first time he ever was in question of whether he won a fight or not. So I would suspect he'd go for the Garcia fight. We're going to put pressure on him and put pressure on everybody else involved with it to make the fight happen. So that's what Shawn Porter wants.
Talk to me about VADA. How was the VADA testing throughout this 8 weeks? How many times they visited?
I would say 4. Previously, they've done a lot more. The Garcia fight, they probably hit us double that, 7 to 8 times. I would say this fight maybe 4 times.
4 times, cool. Right.
I want to go back to something that you said. You said you were calling and calling, but the other side was not answering the phone. Now, we had a debate on this show many, many times, and I know that there are outliers like Canelo and Anthony Joshua and Mayweather, but does the promoter work for the boxer, or does the boxer work for the promoter?
There's nothing. We're not in control of any of this. We never were in control of any of this. The only thing we can control is what we do in training, eating, preparation, and showing up at a fight. We don't get to have a say-so on pretty much anything that's going on. Obviously, when you get down to negotiating the numbers, we get to go back and forth and and negotiate some numbers. But other than that, nah, we're not in control of anything. We don't get to pick a date, a time, a place, or
We lost you there,
it's
Ken.
basically
We lost you after date and time.
yeah. We don't get to pick a date, time, a place, a venue where we're gonna fight. What happens is, we're told, but we're told in a very nice way. You guys are gonna fight on this day, or you know, um, this venue is available, and we pretty much say yes to it, and that's about it. We don't they're not working for us. They're not doing us any favors. They don't do any favors for us when you see what's going on in the ring. If you're watching the corner, if you're watching the corners and watching who's in the ring with who in the corner, couldn't you tell who's expected to win the fight? Ness.
Yeah, I mean, there's always an A side and a B side, but that doesn't mean the betting line was off. The betting line had Shawn plus 525, man. They thought they was gonna get a knockout.
I got it at 700.
Yeah, well, you in Vegas too. That's different. We doing it online here.
Yeah, but you understand what I'm saying. When certain things are in place for certain people to be successful.
Yes, absolutely.
You can actually take a look and see. Well, damn, how come ain't nobody over there? How come ain't nobody walking with them? You can see it.
Definitely. But that's all our questions. Want to thank you obviously for coming on, and want to thank you for getting your son to tip-top shape to give a classic performance. Giving us truly, we've been saying that too, we're lucky enough to have these 4-5 welterweights be our own version of Hagler and Ray and all that good stuff the older people like to talk about. We're getting to see that right before our eyes, man. So we thank you and your son, man, for a fantastic fight.
Well, I thank you guys, and I appreciate you, Ness, always reaching out to me the way you do. And keep it coming, brother. Let's put some heat on their ass. Let's put some heat on EJ and on Derek James and everybody involved with this to make this fight happen. I don't think nothing against Danny Garcia. Nothing against Danny Garcia at all. But I believe that this fight deserves a rematch. I believe the fans deserve to see a rematch. And I believe the numbers would double in the rematch.
That would be really good for boxing if we could get those to be double 700 plus. That would be great. But Ken, man, thank you again. There you have it, ladies and gents. Shawn Porter's father and trainer, Ken Porter, giving us an update on, just his thoughts on Errol Spence's social media posts, letting the world know that he's ready to run it back. Mike, let me know your thoughts. What did you think of Errol and his tweet? I didn't expect that. You see, you guys think, or is this what you said this morning? Is this just him? I don't know. What do you call it? Keeping his name hot?
Yeah, exactly, man. I don't think he did it just for that reason. Because when you're on the internet as much as we all know people that have their smartphones, so they got an IG. They follow boxing. And he's been hearing about the Shawn Porter won, Shawn Porter did this. So I like the tweet when you come out and say, shit, let's run it back. Because that tells me you got that, what I've been saying Wilder had. You know what I'm saying? You think you beat me? Run it back. Let's go. And with that tweet, I know it wasn't in words, but that it gave me that kind of feeling.
Yeah, man. Let's hope that that's exactly what we get. We're going to go out to some callers, man. You want to give me your final thoughts before I open up these phone lines?
I just wanted to give you my last question for Ken. I wanted to ask him what his pay-per-view prediction was. Was it going to be 50,000 for Shawn Porter and Errol Spence? I was just picking fun with him because you said Mikey and Earl would do 50,000. I was just making a little joke.
Yeah, we should have talked about that with him. We should have told him he got me in trouble for that interview. It was all his fault. All his fault.
Like, probably would have gotten in trouble for something else that we said about Earl.
You know it.
Remember to rate us 5 stars on iTunes.
These calls are brought to you by El Camino Electrical Services, experts in electric vehicle charging stations. For consultations and turnkey installation, visit us at elcaminoelectricalservices.com.
Orlando, talk to me on Skype. How you doing, brother?
How y'all doing, guys? That was. I like how Kenny was talking. I mean, I haven't been able. Have y'all watched the fight more than once?
No, man, I haven't been able to. The cable company, remember I talked about it on Sunday, bro. That shit was not there like it's supposed to be. So they gave me a
I went to a fight party, so I couldn't record it. But I really want to see the fight because I really want to see the low blow situation. To be honest, I think it would be incredible if they could run it back in January and do the same numbers. I think that would make a bigger statement in the first fight because that's like a shorter promotion time period.
You ain't see the low blows live?
No, I did. I just didn't. I did see the low blows live. I'm just saying he said like 12 to 15 times. That's according to Kenny.
Nigga, so I counted 6 in one round.
Like I said, maybe there was some that I felt borderline that were low blows. I want to see it again, but I don't know exactly because I know. Is there any way to be able to watch the fight again, like outside of a bootleg?
I mean, not yet. Hit me up on IG. I got you.
All right, good looks, Mike. Yeah, y'all have a good one, man. Y'all the best. Y'all doing y'all thing, man. Keep doing y'all thing, man.
It's all Ness, man. This was a surprise. I heard that Merchant. I said, why Ness playing this old ass recording for? Like, what the fuck?
I'm gonna have you sign Patreon because y'all really putting in work. I appreciate everything y'all do, man.
Thank you, Orlando. Let's go out to Cincinnati. Brandon, talk to us.
What up, B?
Yo, what up, Mike? What up, Ness? Shout out to myself. I post this information on the community Patreon feed. I'm always dropping little news and tidbits on there for these guys to keep giving us shows and shit. Cause I love these niggas so much. But I like what everything K Diddy was saying, man. I would like to see him running it back. The numbers was good, the fight was good. If they can run it back in January, that's even better. Get it out of the way, the sooner the better.
What you call that nigga?
K Diddy. K Diddy. Yeah, K Diddy. He been K Diddy for years, bro.
Profile done went up on me.
Yeah, but if they can run it back in January, man, I'd rather see the rematch than the Danny Garcia fight. Now, if Shawn wants to, sit out till the springtime, go ahead and negotiate with try to get that fight with Terrence Crawford. If Errol says I don't want to wait till spring, I want to get a fight in January, I'm cool with that too, So if they can get it done in January, even better. If he feel like he can't get it done in January, he want to get a big fight for the spring, start negotiating with Terrence Crawford. I want to see that fight too. Either way it goes, it sounds like boxing is in a good spot in this welterweight division. Errol Spence is talking that talk. He sound like he ain't happy with the critics and the, people saying, he should have lost that fight. So he said he want to run it back. He ain't running away from it like some fighters do. That's a close fight. So, let me move on, take my win and move on. Now he's saying, let's run it back, man. So I can apply you for that. Other than that, man, you fellas have a good night. It's TBV for life, baby.
We're going
real quick. No, we're not going out real quick, Ness. I'm disappointed in you, man.
What didn't I ask?
Ken sat up here and said that if they couldn't get the Errol Spence fight, they would do what? Try to go make the Terrence Crawford fight, right?
Yeah.
Aren't you the guy?
You what you wanted.
Aren't you the guy that is adamant after a loss? You should not go back in a pay-per-view fight because we know that's going to be pay-per-view, right? Crawford and Porter, they got to pay him, right?
Bruh, I like Ken and Shawn so much. I'll let them go ahead and milk Bob.
No. Or was it Shawn put up such a good fucking fight that he didn't lose anything in that fight? His stock didn't go down. Okay.
That too, because for Mikey, it's a different story. Got his ass beat, man. You know what I'm saying? Shawn, on the other hand, he did some ass beating and took some ass beating. So, it's different, man. But also, I was thinking more from a monetary standpoint, I promise you. You heard what I told him. I said, yo, they desperately need you. That meant cha-ching. That's all that meant to me. Like, it's true. It one hand washes the other. Terrence gets a fight that he needs, and they get a hell of a check.
Coming off what he just did, the price just went up.
Mm-hmm. Definitely, man. I mean, look, even they should even call Eddie. Maybe the Kelbrook rematch makes sense now. You know, I don't know. Just throwing shit out there. You know, give yourself some options because you heard him, and that's the bad thing, Mike, bro. I know him forever, and that's the worst thing that like he always feels like he's the B side, and I mean Ken. You know, because Ken is the one he's the manager. He's the one that handles all that. Listen to what he said. We don't get no say. We don't get the pick. You know, Earl got the pick. Keith got the pick. Keith got a hometown Tampa fight. Earl got a hometown Texas fight. You know, one would say, oh, well, he fought Broner, you know, in Vegas. But, like, that's because it was a big fight, not because he's from Vegas, because he's from Cleveland. So, I don't know, man. It is what it is. Hopefully, you know, he sticks around for many years, and he's able to get that a couple, you know, get them fights that he wants, them rematches that he wants. We got a bunch of callers. We're going to go out to Majid in Orlando, Florida. Talk to me.
What up, Majid?
Oh, he probably still in Ohio.
Hey, what up? Yes, sir. Still here. But I want to say good shit for the show late night. I missed a lot of it, but I mean, I saw the title and I'm like, if Errol Spence want to run that rematch back, man, I'd rather just see that before anything. You know what I'm saying? Because that's like unsolved business, like getting right back to it. May not be good, but I don't know all that shit. I just want to see it again. That's all I got. Everybody like the fucking video.
All right, champ. Thank you for calling in. We going out to. Please mute yourself if you're just jumping in. Thank you. Thank you. We got. Who was there first? Davidian. Talk to me.
Hey, how y'all doing? What's
Good,
up, Mike? What's up, Ness?
What up, Davidian?
What's up? Yeah, I mean, I would love to see that again. That was really dope. Yeah, I mean, Shawn and them did their thing, and so did Earl. I mean, I saw some of the low blows, but was it 2016 time? I don't know. Maybe. I don't know. There was some stuff going on there, but yeah, that's gonna be a good fight. I really like Shawn and them though, and Earl. You know, they both fought their hearts out. May the best man win. Hopefully it'll be I don't know. I say that, but hopefully it'll be a cleaner fight. Hopefully. But y'all doing a good job, so keep up the good work and God bless.
Thank you, Davidian. We're going out to Jerome. Talk to me.
Yo, what's good, people?
What up, champ?
What's up, man? Yeah, man. I definitely would love to see that fight again, man. I've watched it like freaking 7 times already. So if they're gonna run it back, and especially how they're going about it right now, you might as well get it while it's hot, man. But if it don't happen and Shawn gonna fight Bud, that's a pay-per-view. I think Shawn did justice for himself. I guess it depends on how you lose on pay-per-view. And you have people that say that that he won that fight. So I think he's credible to go straight back to a pay-per-view if it's Earl or it's
Jerome, man, gotta mute you. You're getting too much feedback. You on the car on speaker, and it's coming back in. You know, the audio's coming out the speakers back into the mic. We going out to Gado. Talk to me.
Yo, what's happening?
Talk.
Y'all can hear me?
Yes, sir.
All right, what's up, man? What's up, man? First off, first time call. I just want to say I appreciate what y'all do, man. Y'all really helped me get into some of this boxing shit more deep. So, you know what I'm saying? Y'all do some good shit. You know what I'm saying? Mike, shout out. I'm in Indiana, too. You know what I'm saying? I'm from Nap, though. I think you said you from Arkansas, but you know what I'm saying? Yeah, shout out anyway. But on that rematch, I just want to say it's a good-ass fight. Can't be mad at that shit. But as far as the low blows go, man, I think everybody need to remember, man. That man Errol Spence told him. He told us all. He said, I know he's a rugged fighter. We got tactics to make sure that if you want to get dirty, we get dirty with him. So I agree with you, Ness. You know what I'm saying? Shawn came out there stepping on his feet, damn near made Errol fall. You know what I'm saying? I think Errol got cut on the head, but even though it was a little minor cut, you know what I'm saying? I think everybody just got to remember that, though. Like you said, he wanted to get dirty, so you know what I'm saying? Errol got dirty, played his game with him.
Yeah, man. That's what
my
they tell
call.
you in the gym. Thank you, Gallo, for calling in. That's what they tell you in the gym, man. Don't complain to the ref. I'm a complainer, though. Everybody know that. We going out to Juan. Talk to me.
Hey, what's up, Nez? What you laughing about?
No, because I complain, bro. I want the ref to step in. Fuck that shit. He cheating.
Yeah, I mean, Errol has that mean streak. You know, everybody's saying Shawn is dirty, but Errol just does what he needs to do to win. But I just called in to say I caught just the end of the interview. Thank you guys for interviewing Kenny. That's great. But just want to throw I have to go back and listen to it, but from what I heard, a big shout out to Mike for asking him that question about who works for who. I think that helped us put into perspective some of the things we've been discussing in this channel, man.
Remember that that's for them specific. He's talking about their situation.
Yeah, I know, but how else are we gonna get like an insight like that if you don't ask them when you have them in front of you? So
No, I just don't want it to be taken as general information for all fighters, because some fighters definitely get a say so.
Yeah, of course, we cannot generalize from a specific situation, but I think that was a dope question, and I liked the answer Kenny gave. So I have to go back and listen to the whole thing. But anyway, big shout out to you guys for the interview. Thanks for putting the work out for us.
All right. Well, thank you for calling in. And also, we had Larry Merchant on in the very beginning of the show, so you'll enjoy it from the beginning to end. Go ahead, right, Mike?
All right. Thanks.
We got a ringer on, Liz Lowe, but he's not calling in from his normal Skype. Liz Lowe, talk to me.
Did you add him?
No, he said he's on Skype. He's not. I guess, never mind.
Nah, maybe he wants to be added. I'll add him. Right. I'll add him. Let's go to. Actually, we have someone here.
Dollar D Beyonce Productions.
Yeah, I'm telling you. BoxingVoice.com. Damn bitches, they wanna new to me. Niggas, they better not fuck me, son. You better not fuck me, son.
Nelson, what up?
Yo, Nelson, just listening? Okay, here we go. He might be just listening. He ain't unmuted yet.
Oh, he didn't?
Nelson.
All right.
My bad.
There we go.
Here we go. My bad. I'm getting closer to find out what the colors are. Yo, Porters act like they don't fight rough. Shawn went in with a game plan and executed. Fatality. Plus, I really, really liked the fight. I think it was closer than Thurman versus Porter. Whoa. And if Spence would have had a low blow, imagine that. There goes another point on the other way. With the KO, then the math maybe would have been a draw, but I still think Spence would have won that. And, you know, Mike over here, finally here, I'd rather see Porter versus Crawford than Porter versus the rematch, because I'd rather see if Porter can beat Crawford to then see the rematch with Spence. You dig?
Yeah, with a belt. I get you.
I feel you.
I thought that was Freddie Roach. That was funny as hell. If it wasn't Freddie Roach, then whoever that was killing it.
You talking about the first interview or the second?
Yeah, I think that was the first one when I first called it. I was like, wait,
Larry Merchant.
Am I live? I was like, what the hell? Yo, TBV for life. Let's get it.
Nelson, man, thanks for calling in. We got Rod in the 870. Talk to me.
What's up, Mike?
What up?
How you doing, man? I called in because of the low blows. I think, Mike, you're right. I saw Earl throw like 6 low blows in one round. Me and my girl was like counting them. But at the same time, the official did say something to him. If you remember, Shawn Porter complained to the official twice, and the official told him both times, like, you're bending over. So the official was giving Earl a pass, because if you watch Shawn Porter when you rewatch the fight, because I was able to rewatch it again, Shawn was coming in really low, and Earl was just swinging under him, kind of like Andre Ward with Kovalev when he was bending over in the corner, and the official warned him twice.
That's why I think he didn't take a point. I think he noticed it, but he said your style is forcing him to swing as low as he was. But you're right, he did hit him with like 6 dick blows. I agree with that. But on the other end, everybody's calling in saying that, oh, if it wasn't for the knockdown, it would have been a draw. If you look at the official scorecards, Earl was up by 3 points or 3 rounds before the knockdown. The knockdown put on 2 judges' scorecards. So even if he'd had a knockdown, he still would have won the fight like 115, 113, something like that. So it wouldn't even been an issue. The knockdown just made it a wider fight. And I think that him and Porter should fight again. I think it was a great fight. I always said before Porter had his last fight that Porter would give Earl the toughest fight.
Cut it.
We going to T-Plums.
What's good, fellas?
What up, champ?
What up, T?
Chilling. I just want to pick on Mike a little bit because I ain't never seen somebody so happy to be wrong about 2 picks in a fight.
I'm not wrong.
When Kenny was like, he think Keith and he thinks Shawn beat Keith and Earl. Mike jumped out. I told you. But in reality, they lost. So I just want to pick on Mike.
if you trust everybody's scorecard, then that's on you.
I think Keith and Earl won too, but Shawn is a dog. Like nothing away from Shawn. He's a game opponent. He ready to fight, and he gonna make all them fights close. So it's cool that you think Shawn won. I ain't mad at you. I just wanted to laugh at you about that real quick.
He who laughs last laughs loudest.
Yeah. Well, I'm laughing now.
MMA guy, you're up.
Whoa, man. We got the ring out here, man. Respect your status. Say it slow, talk to me.
He jumped in?
Yeah.
Yeah, what's happening?
Damn, don't talk to me with nigga on that. I just vouched for you.
I'm just saying what's happening, fella. My bad, I'm at work. But check this, that's something I didn't say earlier when I called in. I do not mind a rematch. I have no problem with it. Actually, I give some more respect to Earl because that's how we used to do it in the old days, shouted. Somebody, you gonna doubt I beat your ass, nigga, run that shit back then. Ain't no problem. So I appreciate Earl for even saying it, whether it was a tweet or not. That's all I really got to say, shit. No, I'm sorry. Larry Merchant, good interview, man. It's good to see that cat still around after all these years. And shout out to Kenny Porter, man. Hey, he never disappoint, man. I like people who keep shit 100. It ain't hard to keep shit 100. How you feel about shit? You feel me? Kenny Porter keep that shit dead ass real. Y'all have him on anytime, dog. I appreciate that. And a shout out to TBV, man. Y'all nigga got some connects. Y'all do shit that other motherfucker don't do. I appreciate y'all all the time. Y'all let me call in and cuss and all that shit. You feel me? So I fuck with y'all. Y'all keep doing y'all shit. Everybody smash that like button and goddamn hit Patreon. I'm out.
All right. Well, thanks for calling in. And we got MMA guy, first time caller.
MMA guy.
Yo, you guys can hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Hey, real quick, who you got this weekend? Whitaker or Adesanya?
Gotta go with Robert Whitaker, but okay. I got a quick question here about Nestor Gibbs, man. Is it true that you was a rat?
Yeah, man, it's true, champ. It's true. So, Mike, you there? Oh, shit. Mike. I thought we lost you, girls. The boss.
Somebody kicked me out this motherfucker. Sid Brown. Sid Brown been on for a while. What up, Sid Brown?
We went to him. That's Majid in Florida.
Why his name not Majid?
Checkmate Boxing. Talk to me. He got to change the screen name.
What up, Checkmate?
Okay. What's up, Mike? What's up, Ness? Hey, I was tripping when Mike got excited. Yes, I told you he won. No, Mike, he didn't win.
Y'all know that one.
You was giving, listen, Mike, you was giving Kenny an air high five and shit. No, check this out. So the deal is, it was a great fight. I didn't expect that Porter to show up because that Porter did not show up against Ugas and a couple of others, but it was an incredible fight of the year. But I will say this: people were giving Errol some problems, saying, "Oh, he did this." But listen, Ali had Joe Frazier. Holyfield had Bo. Sugar Ray Leonard had Duran Hearns. Floyd went to war with Cotto and Madonna. People go to war. When you are high level, you're supposed to enjoy those back and forth. But I will say this: the fight was tied after the 10th round, and Earl won the 11th and the 12th. So if the fight was tied, if the fight was even with the 10th after the 10th round, Earl won 11 12, that make it a 115, 112, including the knockdown. It was a great fight, but you have to, get it the credit due. Now, Kenny Porter is Shawn's dad, so he's going to be a little biased. But if he watches, really watch it, again, he got to give Earl his props. You know what I mean?
Let me ask you a question.
Go ahead, Mike.
Who dictated the pace of that fight?
Who dictated the pace? You listen, Earl. It's like a build, okay?
Damn, that's off and fire his ass up, nigga. He dictated the pace. His aggression was effective. He was coming forward and he was landing punches. For like the first 5-6 rounds, it was like Porter. Like, come on, y'all. Earl came out slow. He came out methodical. He was turned it up to about the 5th or 6th round.
Let me get to Mastermind Kels in Cali. Talk to me.
Yeah, I just want to call in, man, and holler at Mike. Mike, hey, in the beginning, for that Porter key fight.
Well, that's Skype restarting, so now we're gonna have to wait, and there's gonna be some downtime where we'll get to the comments while we do that. So, Dr. Mofongo says, Porter missed a ton of shots, though. I don't know. I mean, CompuBox definitely has him landing less punches than Spence. DJN says, Earl was punching to keep Porter off. I mean, sometimes they were meeting in the center. I don't know. Let me see. We got Jonathan says, Porter don't got nuts. He got butter now. Wow, that was funny. Yeah. Nelson, we're going to get you back in, to listen. Once, unless you're a boomerang, I don't even know, to be honest with you. But once it restarts, it's restarted, man. I don't know. Someone's attacking the Skype, right? So what else we got? Listen, man, hit that thumbs up button. We brought you 2 solid interviews today. Damn, they call Mike the fanboy. Cali Buzz, yo. Cali Buzz, you so mean. I heard you went to the fight with Info, though, so that's what's up, man. You got to meet good old Info Joe. Let me see. Dímelo, Ness. Loco. Yo puedo regresar. Yo, manín. You got the the boomerang status? If you got the boomerang status, tú puedes regresar sin falta. Sin problema. You know? What else we got? Spence did some nuisance shit that many people missed. Okay, what was that? Talk to us. Only thing I seen was them low blows. That was what I had an issue with. You know, it wasn't. I don't know, man. I ain't like it because I ain't even see Shawn land any illegal shots. You know, so it was not nice to watch it. But we got these guys back. We're joining the call. Let's see what's up.
I don't know the Jungle Boys is. My bad,
so we had Killer Kels, right? Go for it, Kels.
Kels already talked.
Oh, so who I had to go to?
Gatto.
No, we went to Gatto.
That's it then.
It was Kels. I think he just dropped off.
Now Kels already told me he can't. Well, maybe he dropped off during your call. Maybe I don't know, but yeah.
All right, but I restarted this for nada. All right, final thoughts.
Big ups to Ken Porter, man. Thanks for the interview. You know what I'm saying? We appreciate it. Errol Spence, I love the energy from the social media posts. Let's run it back. If you think there's controversies out there, you go back and handle your business like a true champion. I respect that and I like that. And I'm the same way who was beating the drum for Wilder. Wilder, go back and handle your business. So It is what it is. But follow me on IG at Gross1911 or on Twitter at Gross2312.
Hit that thumbs up button, future, present, past. It helps with the visibility of the show, and it helps get this show in the front of eyes of other boxing fans and new callers, man, that haven't called in. We're going out to Jonathan Sims. Talk to me.
What up, Jonathan?
Champ, no time for just listening. We was out. We just giving you the green light.
Y'all can hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, cool. Thanks for staying on for me, man. I appreciate it.
No problem.
Hey, man, I'm glad they running it back, right? Like, why not? It makes the most sense. That tells me the Pacquiao fight isn't happening or the Buzz. So, yeah, man, I think it's only right to run it back. Danny, that shouldn't be an option. And I find it funny for everybody who's advocating for that. Like, the numbers itself, like, how could you overlook that for something potentially in Danny? So I'm glad that's not happening, man. And, Mike, you my guy, man. One thing I do want to ask you, though, is like, at one point, you know what I'm saying, you were saying, like, do whatever it take to win. But now it's like you saying, oh, Earl was hitting below the belt. Like,
Bruh. Doing whatever it takes to win is not necessarily hitting the guy below the belt consistently over and over. That's just bad sportsmanship. You know what I'm saying? That's like me fouling a guy going to the basket and hitting him hard, but the ref not calling. So I'm gonna do it over and over again. No, that's not how you play the game.
But like you said, the world class ref ain't calling it. So why would you stop? That's the same. That was the same thing you was advocating a couple weeks ago.
I was not advocating, man. I don't think I was advocating for a dude to get hit below the belt multiple times, bro. I don't. I was saying if somebody hits you, you hit them back. Me and this always argue. Holding is not legal. Shit. Sometimes you gotta hold if you get stunned. This women somehow it becomes legal. Then you feel me? And then it's like what else? I don't fucking know. I'm just saying. It's like I can't tell a fighter not to go in there and like put his all, but if you're doing something, in my opinion, that was deliberate over and over again, then no, we ain't right with that.
I think tomorrow morning show should be what we think Crawford thought when he seen them early numbers come in.
I mean, I don't really think it really bothered him that much, to be honest
He in
with you.
Hawaii. Yeah, maybe he didn't even see it. He in Hawaii.
Come on, bro. You know you seen it. Come on, man. Come on. He followed Mike Coppage, you know what I'm saying? He followed somebody. He followed Dan Ray. He followed somebody on
I don't know. I don't
social
think he
media.
liked Coppinger. Remember? Then he invite Coppinger into the ring and shit.
Yeah, dog. He was mad that day.
Well, yeah, man, that's GTO, Instagram, and Twitter. Catch us on the next one. This was a spontaneous one, so we would appreciate the thumbs up. We would appreciate you sharing this on all your platforms of social media just to help us get the word out. Mike says 9.
Catch us tomorrow morning at
9 a.m. Peace.